Yo, what is going on? This is Philip Jean-Marie, aka Max Cooper. I'm actually here at the Power Morphicon, and I wanted to show you my wonderful helmet. I also wanted to shout out everyone who watched Power Rangers Wild Force, and even the old fans and the new fans. Also want to let you guys know, shout out to Tiger Tales. It's an audio storytelling channel on YouTube. Make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. And also wanted to let you know, if you're going through some issues in life, remember 3 words: never give up. All right. So I hope everyone is doing well. Love you a lot. Peace.
Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales The Lost Stories, a place you'll find stories and fan fictions in the first person point of view, written and read to you guys by myself, Tiger. Today we're diving back into Power Rangers Cyberforce Arsenal Archive. Power Rangers Cyberforce is created by Cosplay Dude 637 and can be found on Power Rangers Universe 19, the podcast. I'm a huge fan of that storyline, so I decided to create Power Rangers Cyberforce V2, which was originally a fan fiction but is now canonically connected to Power Rangers Cyberforce. This, however, continues that fanfictional love for Cyberforce. In this story, I've created myself, Ty, and the 3 Ranger Bros, Mark and Willie, into this storyline as they hunt down all of the Cyberforce weapons. Power Rangers Cyberforce was something of the past, and they need to collect the weapons to stop an alien invasion. So that being said, let's dive in. Power Rangers Cyberforce Arsenal Archive Chapter 3 Minerals and Nunchucks. I stood in Sam's lab with Mark and Willie, the map with the indicators bleeping. We stood there trying to devise a plan. We could take one of the mountains, Willie suggested. We could, yes, but we don't have a good layout. Those mountains could be very dangerous, Mark stated. Well, we gotta do one in the deep city then, I suggested. We need an SPD to clear it out first. We don't need people in the crossfire between us and the husks, Mark stated. Dude, come on, gotta give us something here. You're gonna police your way through the whole situation? Willie barked. At least I'm doing something. I could waste my time praying, Mark barked back. Boys, cut it out, Sam butted in. Sam has a point. Us arguing is not gonna help, I sighed. Mark and Willie both looked down at the floor. I looked at the map and picked one of the blinking lights and zoomed in. How about this one? It's outside the city, it's in the desert. If the husks appear, we can take them down without getting in the way of civilians, I suggested. Both of them nodded at me. Sam, stay on comms. We're heading out, I called out to Sam as he was tinkering with the computer. Uh-huh, Sam replied without turning his head. Then Mark, Willie and myself all headed out to get a Cyberforce weapon activation key. Mark's car came to a stop and everyone climbed out. We all then scanned the massive desert, and I saw a gigantic rock to the left of us. I ran over to it, took out my bag off my shoulder, and unzipped it and pulled out one of my spray cans. I then started tagging the big slab of rock. Dude, is that honestly really necessary? Mark asked as I was spray painting. Yeah, it's my tag, man, come on, I noted. I think it's cool, he has a way of expressing himself, Willie muttered. Yes, but 3 miles back this would have been classed as illegal, Mark noted. Guys, pack it in. I'm just spray painting a rock real quick. Jesus, I said, shaking my head. I finished my tag and packed my spray cans away. It's a ranger helmet? Willie asked. Well, yeah, we are Power Rangers after all, I said with a shrug. Then we saw something fly across the sky, and it was a husk ship. It stopped and floated there. Then the ship opened on the side, and several soldiers jumped out of the ship and landed on the sand. Then the ship flew off. Looks like we got a fight on our hands, boys, Willie said with a cheeky grin. Yeah, let's get this over with, Mark sighed. We all ran at the husks. They clocked us and opened fire. Laser blasts flew past us. Time Force, Mark called out as he pressed his chronomorpher. Then he morphed into the Crimson Time Force Ranger. Willie stopped and pulled out his morpher. Then he flipped it open and pressed the button combination, then held the morph into the air. Magical Source, Mystic Force, he called out, and morphed into the ISIS Mystic Force Ranger. Both Rangers jumped into the group of husks and started fighting them. I ran my hand over my Cyberforce morpher. Scan DNA, I called out, and my morpher started glowing the colours of the Tiger's Eye crystal. Then I slammed my hand on the morpher. Cybercharge, I called out, and in a flash of light, I morphed into the Cyberforce Tiger's Eye Ranger. I ran into the fold and started punching a husk soldier. It started swinging a mace at me. I jumped back and pressed the weapon icon on my morpher. Download cyber triggers! I called out, and my twin blasters appeared in my hand, in a flash of green coding. I aimed both my blasters and shot at my attacker. The husk dropped to the ground. Then another husk started firing at me. I rolled across the sand, dodging the blast. I fired back, hitting it in the chest. Then I saw the Crimson Time Force Ranger kick a husk in the jaw, launching it into the air. I aimed one of my blasters and fired it, hitting the airborne husk. Then I saw the Isis Mystic Force Ranger get slammed in the chest by a mace. I ran at them. I jumped over the husk, causing space between the husk and the Isis Ranger. I quickly turned around and rapidly pulled the triggers on my blasters, striking the husk several times. It staggered backwards and fell back, and we defeated the group of husks rather quickly, their bodies exploding into piles of green slime. Then the slime sank into the sand. We turned and saw a higher class husk walk towards us. Guys, you defeated one of those things back in the prisons. They're called husk captains, Sam said in our communicators. Looks like you boys causing a disturbance in our search, the husk captain growled. Oops, sorry, the Isis Ranger mocked. Call me Mineral Minus, the captain snapped. The three of us looked at each other, then all dropped into our fighting stances. The three of us ran at Mineral Minus. The monster raised his hand and the sand beneath our feet exploded under us, sending us flying into the air. We hit the sandy ground rather hard and slowly climbed to our feet. Mineral Minus then waved his hand with a sharp motion, and a cloud of sand rose off the ground and slammed into us, knocking us off our feet once again. I think this guy can control sand, the Irish Ranger grunted as he climbed to our feet. Well done, genius. What gave you that impression? The explosive sand or the cloud of sand smacking us? The Crimson Ranger growled sarcastically. Guys, stop it. I asked you guys in this to help me out, but right now all you're doing is pissing me off. I snapped back. I stood up and held my fingers on the weapon icon on my morpher. Access the Arsenal Archive. Download the legendary weapon of the Red Cyberforce Ranger. Download the Cyber Blade, I called out, and the Cyber Blade materialized before me. I grabbed it. If you guys aren't going to play nice and help me, stay out of my way, I barked. Then I ran at Mineral Minus. I swung the sword several times, hitting Mineral Minus several times, over and over. I then swept my foot across the sand, tripping the monster up. I swung my sword down, ready to enact the final attack, when a sand explosion erupted from where I stood and threw me into the air. Then, as I was in the air, my morpher scanned the desert below me. Suddenly, a green light exploded from the sand, flew up to me, and I caught the green light. I looked at my palm and saw a weapon key. I plugged it into the side of the morpher. Weapon key activated. Added Cyberforce weapon to weapon catalog, my morpher said. As I fell to the ground, I pressed the weapon icon and added the Arsenal Archive. There I saw a weapon which once belonged to the Sage Green Cyberforce Power Ranger. I pressed the icon and downloaded the weapon, and it appeared before me. I grabbed it and landed on the ground. I then swung around the Cyber Nunchucks. Oh yeah, baby, let's go, I called out in glee. I ran at Mineral Minus. He raised his hands up and sand flew at me. I spun one of the pair of nunchucks and deflected the sand attack. I then spun around on my heel and spanked Mineral Minus several times. Then I spun one of the nunchucks around and struck the monster with a cybercharged nunchuck. The Mineral Minus monster fell back and blew up. I stood there victorious. We all demorphed and regrouped. Okay, sorry. We have been letting our personal stuff get in the way of the mission, Mark sighed. Yeah, he's kinda got a point there, Willie chimed in. Thank you, I snapped. Then I walked back to the car. We all headed back to Sam's laboratory. Well done, guys. You got another weapon, Sam cheered as all three of us walked in. Yes, I did, I said, throwing a glare at Mark and Willie. Now on to the next one, Sam said. Okay, guys, now where? I asked as the holo map showed us the 13 remaining weapons in the form of a blinking red light. You're in charge, man, Willie nodded. We will follow your lead, Mark sighed. I looked at both of the boys. Alright, let's get this done and end this war, I said with determination. We all looked up at the map and started planning out our next plan of action. Please make sure you check out Power Rangers Cyberforce on the Power Rangers Universe 19 podcast, and check out Power Rangers Cyberforce V2 on Tiger Tales. Now, on with the outro. Thank you very much for listening to this story. There are of course plenty more where that came from, on this specific channel and on other Tiger channels as well. There are plenty more Tiger Tales channels for you guys to find and explore, with all sorts of storylines, fan fictions to dive into. A huge shout out to the following: Cosplay Dude 637, my Parabatai, and Mark the Red Cornish Ranger. The three of us are the Three Ranger Bros. Then of course we have our partners, A Crown and Cosplay Sun 637, also known as Xander. Of course, a huge shout out to the Zeroed Hero podcast, and of course, If You Give a Dad a podcast. If you want to find out more about these people, make sure you check out our website, the3rangerbrosstudios.com. That being said, make sure you check out the Tiger Nexus podcast, my own podcast where I interview people, content creators and geeks alike. Sometimes those two things intertwine. Now of course, a list of the other Tiger Tales channels can be found on the website, and also some of the channels are down below in the description. Make sure you go give them a listen to, because there's more where that came from. Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 also returns on a lot of the Tiger Tales channels, including the original Tiger Tales. So make sure you check out his stories as well. I have plenty more content where that came from. I do gaming, reactions, I geek out about stuff, I show off my collectibles, my artwork, and a lot more. Again, some of these links will be in the description down below. If not, you can go check out the website, or check out the TikTok at TigerTiger777, where I talk about a lot about my other content. Of course, that being said, I love you all. Make sure you hit that like button, you subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss more stories coming to you from myself and the partners of the channel. We're of passion, everybody, and I shall see you guys real soon.
That before we can...
Don't touch my Pringles.
Bye!